Welcome back to Ninon Speaks. I'm Ninon, your host for the next half an hour or so, depending on how far we go. But I have Lou Remillard with me, and he has a restaurant called
Crepe Expectations.
Crepe Expectations. And you're probably wondering what on earth that's all about. Well, crepes, I happen to know what crepes are, because in Europe we have crepe Suzette. Crepe Suzette is a very thin pancake, and it has the marmalade on it, and it has all the beautiful syrups and everything. And you came up with this idea. But the reason I have Lou on is you have such a story. You're a bit of you were drinking and all sorts of crazy things going on in his life.
I'm a recovering gambling addict and alcoholic. Yes, ma'am.
Well, you're certainly in the right city for both.
Yes, ma'am. To take advantage of them.
Yeah, to take advantage of them. And also, it's just part of life of who somebody is and what they do. And then you suddenly got, I don't know what got connected with, whatever you got connected with, and realized that you were going up the wrong path. So how did you start? You came to Vegas.
We came to Vegas about 19 years ago, me and my wife at the time, and we came to Vegas, and both of us were chefs, and we're from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And we thought, what better place in the world than to go to Vegas if you're a couple of professional chefs? There's
restaurants galore.
Restaurants galore here.
Yeah.
And with that, we moved across the country, and we've been here, like I said, about 19 years now. But in that time, addictions can form, and
stories start.
And stories truly can unfold.
Yes.
I don't know
which is what you did.
Yeah, I don't think I was trying to start over. I think so many times that we get confused that with addiction, it's all about starting over, and I don't see that so much today as much as I see allowing the true self to come out, and I was hiding.
You managed that.
So long.
You managed to do that, but when you came to Las Vegas. Were you a gambler? And both. And what about your wife? Was she the same way? Or?
Yes, ma'am. We both fought
gambled?
the demons. Both of them.
Both fought the
gambled
demons
and drank and.
But you had a great time. You loved it.
Well, it was Vegas
at that time.
Yeah, we were in our early 30s and enjoyed it, and there's only so much enjoyment it can have.
And how did you realize that you wanted to change your life and you wanted to sort of be different or get away? I mean, gambling and alcohol are very addictive things in your body.
Ma'am, the truth is, my wife took my 7-year-old son and disappeared for 17 days.
Oh, my goodness.
And
how old was your little boy then?
He was 6 or 7. Let's see. I've been sober now for 57 months and 17 days. So with that, 57 months and 18 days ago.
Really?
Ma'am.
And what, you're tearing up on that. You got me tearing up too.
Tough. Sometimes. I believe our journey takes what it takes to get us to where we are today.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty tough one for me.
So how did you get your wife and son back? Or your son back? I don't know. What's the story?
Well, it all started when they left. The day after they left, I drank 2 liters of whiskey in 4.5 hours. Trying not to wake up again. And for some unbeknownst reason, I did. With a terrible hangover. And the realization that if I didn't change, I was going to die. And I couldn't even pull it off myself.
So you were trying to actually kill yourself?
Yeah.
In one sort of way.
I drank a lot of whiskey in my life. A lot. And with it, I thought, Well, better way to go. I could just drink myself to death and I could be done with it. And my son could have my insurance policy.
So that's how you were thinking?
Yes, ma'am.
So you weren't thinking, how did you manage to turn that around? Because you obviously turned it around. You obviously, something happened, something clicked within you.
I walked into a 12-step program with a room full of strangers.
So how did you decide to go into a 12-step program, which is an alcoholic rehab? How did you get there? How did you decide, being drunk? You were obviously drunk every single day.
Ma'am.
And you were probably gambling as well.
Ma'am.
I don't know what your gambling part, but you were drunk. So how did you find out about this 12-step, or how did you get it? Were you thinking about your son that much that you must sober up?
I have an innate fear of failure in my life. And when I fail at something, it tends to bring particular attention to me.
Okay.
And the funny thing is I failed at killing myself. And if I couldn't do that right, then shit, I had to be here for a reason.
And that's what turned you around a little bit.
The only way I was going to ever see my son again is if I got my head right and I stepped away from a gambling machine and I stepped away from a bottle of liquor and I started to take better care of myself. I was 285 pounds. So size 48. I was pre-diabetic and had heart problems. And I got sober about...
How long did that take?
I lost 106 pounds in 7 months, ma'am. And I haven't gained an ounce back.
Well, you look pretty good shape now, but I think you're in good shape in your whole life right now. But it took you discipline. It took you a lot of stuff to do. But it seems like you don't want to be a failure was the number one. But I think the number two was also you wanted to see your son. That's your flesh and blood.
I think maybe those are even backwards. I think I wanted to see my son so that I could prove to him that I wasn't a failure.
Oh, how wonderful.
So I knew that the only way I could have that boy in my life every day was to get right. But instead of hide it, and instead of be so anonymous about it, be upfront and be courageous.
So you decided not to be alone?
I decided not to be alone, but I decided that I would be honest with him, as honest as I am with myself.
Yeah.
And to show him that the truth of the matter is that no matter what hurdles in life, no matter what successes and failures in life, the truth is they're just moments.
Yeah. Our whole life is a moment.
Ma'am, and if we stay present in the moment that we're in now, we have to let those old ones go.
So how long did it take you to get yourself where you wanted to be and to see your son again? How long did that take?
I saw my son after 17 days.
Yeah.
And by that time I had, gotten the alcohol maybe out of my system, but it wasn't out of my brain.
You still wanted to drink?
God, I still wanted to gamble and still wanted to drink. And those things are very powerful things, but the truth is that I walked into this 12-step program and they taught me how. Honesty, open-minded, and willingness.
So you had to be open with all these people and let them know your secret.
If I was going to do something, I told you, ma'am, I don't let myself fail.
That's always been kind of your gift. Don't fail.
I have a crazy work ethic. And if I believe in something, and I truly believe in it, man, there's nothing that'll stop me. I have found true passions in life, things that I will go through brick walls for.
You will never give up.
No, I'm like the Labrador Retriever. You throw the stick, I'm going to get it till I'm
that
dead.
I love Labradors, so I
do
agree
too.
with that. I love.
But the truth is that I'm very goal oriented.
I think you're more. You don't want to fail.
Ma'am, I have a terrible fear of
Here's the
it.
thing about you have a fear about failing. You don't want other people to see you fail.
That was how the addiction really came to fruition, is the fact that I was trying to escape.
Yeah.
The feelings of inadequacy.
inadequacy.
Yeah, through alcohol, through gambling, the feelings of inadequacy of not living up to my own standards.
Yeah.
What I thought were other people's standards, and to find out a little bit into the program, this wasn't about anyone else.
It was about you.
This was about me. I expect perfection from myself.
Yeah.
And when I do, I'm my own worst critic.
So when you saw your son after 17 days, which was now the 18th day, what did you say to him? I mean, you must have been beside yourself when you saw him.
Man, I'll never forget it. He just ran and hugged me. And I just told him.
He ran and hugged you?
Ma'am.
Could get me in tears too now.
He just ran and hugged me, and I just told him that
You loved
I
him.
got his back, and I love him.
And now you have custody of him now.
Oh,
Or it's fair.
the beautiful thing of recovery is that you walk in and you're begging and pleading for all the things back that you had in life.
Yeah.
I want the money, the cars, the house, the wife, the son, the white picket fence. You want it all.
Yeah. That little white picket fence always gets in there.
But the fun part about it is that this journey's about discovering how to be content, how to understand that everything I've ever needed is right in front of me.
What you're discovering you.
Ma'am,
You're discovering who you are and what do you really want, and you've just gone up the wrong avenue.
I spent so many years of my life chasing a dollar, chasing a dollar, chasing a dollar, just so afraid to fail.
Yeah.
And the escape was the gambling and the drinking.
But you got over all that, and you were a chef. That was your.
I am
that's
a
what
chef,
you did.
and
He still is. And now you've had this restaurant.
We have been open for about 12 years
12
now.
years.
And have done wonderful, wonderful things. It was 1,450 square feet and 24 seats. And today, I guess it's a little under 5,000 square feet and 140 seats.
He told me a story that amused me. He went to go and buy a car, and whenever this was, I don't know, and you went into the dealership and you wanted to pay cash for the car, and the salesman didn't understand you, and you were so proud to do that because of what you have done and what you have achieved, that this was, and it was something quite natural for you to say, yeah, I want to buy the car and I'm going to buy cash. But the guy was like looking at you, because this is very rare in Vegas, that people buy things cash.
The thing about that, though, is I couldn't get credit because I was a gambler, so my credit was trash. So the only way I was going to get a car
was to pay cash
or to buy it.
Or to buy. Now, there's a history about the restaurant, and this is absolutely going back to his son again. And this is going back. You don't open your restaurant till 9, and you close it at 3. Now, there's a reason why. Because you want to take your son to school.
When we first did this,
yes,
he was.
Now you're saying we. Were you with your wife still now?
Now, I didn't even get to finish it. The cool thing about recovery is the fact that I did get my family back. They did recognize the effort and the work and the dedication to the recovery. And today, we may be divorced, but she's more my wife today than she's ever been, the truth.
Isn't that wonderful?
And my son is we spend every day together. You just made mention of the hours of operation. I open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. because the truth is Noah goes to school at 8:30 in the morning, and I like to take him to school and kiss his head, and he gets out of school at 3:30. So if I don't kick people out at 3, I can't go pick him up.
So everybody's out of your restaurant 3 o'clock?
Ma'am.
And you just decided to do that for your son because...
Well, I'm a compulsive, and I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, compulsive, definitely, because you were drinking and gambling.
Ma'am.
So now you've got a restaurant, and you're compulsive to make that a success.
I choose to use it in a more constructive rather than destructive way.
Yeah.
My time and energy today get focused on work between the hours of work. But once work is finished, it stays there today. Now, that used to come home with me because I used to associate both my personal successes and failures along with the success and failure of the business.
Yes.
And as we all know, businesses ride waves.
Oh,
and especially
absolutely.
restaurants in a touristy town like Vegas. So with it, there are waves.
And you've had those waves.
Ma'am, I've just had to detach my self-association with business. It's just business. It's my job. It's something I love to do.
As a man, this is your business. You have to go out, make a living, pay the house, pay the car,
Ma'am.
kid goes to school. But your wife works, I'm going to call her the wife.
Yes,
Yeah.
she is my wife today as much as
She was before.
more.
And
we do work together. She works with me 6 days a week, sometimes even 7.
Do you live together or you live
Oh yes,
apart?
ma'am. We live together.
live together?
We are as
You're a
married
lighter.
as if we ever have been.
This is such a story. This is, you just don't get stories like this, and it's
I think it's important to share the story, though. I think for me, when I walked into a 12-step program, how important it was for me to see what was possible.
Yeah.
How important it was for me to see success in a way that somebody was in the same place as me.
As you were.
And literally got his way out, paid his bills, got out of the way, started treating himself better, and now is a success. And I truly got to sit in a room with dozens.
You
dozens.
just said something. You said that he started treating himself. He started knowing who he was. And is that the secret to it? Because is the drinking or the gambling, whatever you do, is that kind of the secret, is understanding who you are? And
for me, the drinking and gambling was the escape from the fears.
What fears did you have?
The fear of failure. The fear of
failure again.
Not having that light. I was
light at the end of the
always
tunnel.
looking for the light that everyone talked about. Everybody said, just keep on rocking. And the truth of all of this is that light isn't at the end of the tunnel. That light is inside of me.
So recognizing your light. Who am I? What am I?
If I allow the real me out, that light gets brighter and brighter. And then it becomes helpful for someone else.
Yes.
But if I continue to keep it in and bottle it up and hide the emotions and hide the recovery, well, then I'm doing myself a disservice because I'm not letting the real me out.
Well, because you have talent. Excuse me. There's a lot of people that don't have as much talent as you, or have more talent or less talent. That's not where it's at. It's that recognizing what you want to do and how you want to do it. And your favorite line is, "I don't want people to see me fail. I'm not going to fail myself."
Yeah.
So that kind of seems to be your famous line.
It helps push me. It helps motivate me. It's not today it's not something I look to run away from.
No.
The failures today are opportunities to learn something.
Yeah.
They're somebody's way, something's way, some stronger being's way of saying, slow down, Lou.
Yeah.
Pay attention. If you focus and you stay in the moment, it'll all work out the way it's supposed to.
But at the same time, as a person, you have to kind of push that along. You have to understand who you are.
Yeah, that doesn't come easy.
No, that doesn't, and I know that because I've worked all my life. Even when I was married, I worked because my husband was in real estate and I learned real estate, so we did the real estate together, and I helped him in what we did and how we did it. But I learned it at the same time. Number one, I can't not do something. I have to always work. But at the same time, it's just how you are. It's your DNA, whatever you want to call it, and you have that now. How old's your son now?
He is 11, almost 12. He'll
11,
be 12 in
almost
November.
12, and that's how long you've had the restaurant. Because because he was a baby when when your wife took him.
Yeah.
Did she ever tell you the reason why she went away? The reason she went away and the reason she came back.
She left because she was scared.
Scared for her son?
Scared for either one of them. Nobody wants their son to see a parent just drink himself to death. She didn't want her son to see that.
So she was actually protecting him. So when she left, she realized probably how much she missed you, and she came back.
Oh, man, she hadn't seen me in a long time. In the real true sense, I'd been drinking long before I met her.
Yeah.
I started drinking young. But again, those aren't somebody's fault. I made the decision. I chose to place the bet, and I chose to pick up the bottle. I chose to do it in a repetitive fashion to where it became a habit. But I also chose to put it down. And the beautiful thing about any kind of a program is we get these choices back in life.
We all have choices, don't we?
We do. Today, you wake up in the morning. You have a choice to put a smile on your face.
You can be angry in the world,
or be grumpy,
be happy, or grumpy, or whatever you want to be.
116 degrees outside. It's hot.
Well, it's hot, so what?
So what?
Yeah.
Ma'am, but
I agree with you about that because there's nothing I can do about it, nothing you can do about it, and there's 116. Big deal. So we learn to cope with it.
Yes, ma'am.
And not complain about it. I think if you complain about it all the time, it's going to be 10 times worse and 10 times hotter.
Putting out the negative energy, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer of the law of attraction. You put out and you're going to get back in the same manner.
Absolutely.
If it's positive energy or if it's negative energy. And I believe in my heart that if I give away the true positive of who I am, it comes back tenfold.
So you've actually found out who you are, what you are, and you're not ashamed of it, you're not shy of it, because you are a giver, I believe. Well, he introduced me to a gentleman at his restaurant, and you said this guy's been working with me ever since
Day one.
Day one.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, I would imagine, the way you treat him and the way you take care. And you said a lot of your employees stay a long time and are with you.
I'm blessed
And
with that.
is that because you feel everything you went through is obviously going to be a reflection of your life ahead, which has been a reflection?
Well, the beautiful thing is that a lot of them have seen the good and the bad.
Of you?
Of me. They've been around and seen it.
When you first opened the restaurant, were you drinking?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I didn't quit until, I told you, almost 5 years ago. The
Only
restaurant's
5
12
years.
years old.
It's
ma'am.
12 years old. How
A
did you
functional
manage
alcoholic.
it? Yes.
Ma'am, I drank a liter of whiskey a day at work.
So the time it was 3 o'clock to pick your son up, were you okay? Not really.
Definition of okay could be
It could be anything.
could be just about anything. Yeah.
You're going to laugh out of you at last.
Well, the thing about it is that today I'm able to look at myself, and
Isn't that
I have
nice?
this willingness today that if I truly believe I'm trying to stay in the moment, if I recognize, I'm not saying I don't have old behaviors pop up, but if I'm aware enough today to recognize when I have an old behavior and I stay willing to make a change,
Yes.
then I'm making
Are
true
you-
growth in life.
Are you ever afraid you might go back?
No.
Cool. It took a long time to get that answer.
No,
But-
I wanted to give you an honest answer. Not in a minute.
Not in a minute, because you know it destroys.
Not only that,
Distraction.
I have true vision of where I was,
And where you
where
are now.
I am today.
Yeah.
And ma'am, if you want to talk about opposite sides of a rainbow, it's drastic.
Do you feel really good about yourself? You've only had, it's only 5 years you've been sober and everything
Confident?
else. And
Yes. Confident in the fact that I have this crazy faith today. A faith in a higher power, a faith in an energy, and a faith in a world that's around me. A lot of people see the world in such a negative way, and I just don't look at it like that
yeah,
today.
I don't either. I don't look at it negative at all.
The fun
It
thing
is what it is.
Everybody wants change. But how many of us are really out there to be the change?
Nobody do want. They all want change,
But they don't want
want to do it.
Ma'am.
They don't want to be. I love change.
I want to set the
live-
example.
I live on change. I don't want the world to be the same. And you know, I explain to everybody, even for your son as well, that you have to remember you're going to be at least 20 to 30, maybe 40 years, always older than your son or daughter. So therefore, how they are in this day and age is not the same as it was 30, 40, 20 years ago. So your thoughts about what they should and shouldn't do are completely different to what they're doing right now.
100%.
So you have to change. A person, a grandmother, a parent, or whoever has to change their attitude towards these young people, because these young people see the world how it is today, not how it was 30, 40 years ago.
100%.
And I try to explain that to people, and it's like I get loggerheads. I can't really get that through. But you seem to understand that.
Well, I think today I have a desire, to support my son in any decision that he makes. Any decision, good or bad, even if I know it's the wrong one.
Will you explain to him that it is?
I'll just say it matter-of-factly. But, ma'am, if I take away the experience of making the mistake, I take away his growth.
Yes.
And that's not fair.
But you explain to him, though.
I tried to say, hey, look, I've done this dumb shit before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really doesn't work.
Right.
It's not going to work.
It's going to be like running into a brick wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes he listens.
And sometimes he won't.
And sometimes he's
But
got to
that's
learn
because
that
he's only
lesson.
12 years old.
Ma'am, he's 11. And
11, sorry.
yeah, literally, it's okay to run into a brick wall every
Okay.
now and then.
It's okay to live.
Yes, ma'am. And the mistakes that we make along the way are truly what define us along our
we
journey.
are. Yeah, who
So
we are, what we
today is filled with yesterday's mistakes.
And you know those. And you know you don't want to make those kind of mistakes again.
I have that experience.
You know what it is. You know, unfortunately, you have that experience. Which, have, you brought up some very sad moments, but you've also brought up some very happy moments.
I don't think it is an unfortunate situation anymore. I think it was
Cool.
some tough lessons.
Tough
And I
lesson.
think it was some deep desire to learn more about myself.
Yeah.
And
Who am I in this world?
why? Yeah, where do I fit in?
Yeah.
What is it that I was so afraid of?
Well,
fear?
Lou fits in with crepes, let me tell you. He's got the greatest crepes. I've had crepes all over America, and nothing like yours, because yours are truly crepes because they're so thin.
It's a thin French pancake. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
it is. And you said you use different ingredients. We're not going to say the ingredients you use because then everyone's going to copy you, but you probably don't even care.
But the truth of the matter is, ma'am, is that anybody could make a crepe. It's just pancake without leavener.
There you go.
But
It's
not
the way.
it's not the way. Yeah.
It's the way it's put together. You've got to go. Where is this? What is the address?
9500 Southeastern Avenue, Suite 180.
And that's just off the 215.
Just off the 215 in Eastern Avenue.
Yeah.
Just south, 2 lights on the left-hand side.
And how can they get in touch with you through the internet? Can they?
Yes, crepeexpectations.com has all the information, email addresses, telephone numbers, any way to get in touch with me that you'd like. And if you just
Greater success, but you have to sometimes wait to get a table because that's just how it is.
It does. I've been very blessed. I've been on the Food Network a few times, and that being said, it's
very successful.
I'm wonderfully blessed, and today I'm grateful and thankful to know that I have people like you in my life.
Today, oh bless you. Today you can turn around and say, "I haven't failed."
No, ma'am.
You haven't failed.
I've learned a lot.
And you were on that edge. You were on that little sticky edge of drinking, what did you just say, 3 quarts of this whiskey a day?
I drink almost a liter of whiskey a day, yeah.
You used to, but all those days are over. One last question. Are you thinking of franchising your...
The restaurant has done its thing. We have about 35 people interested in franchises across the country now, and I'd like to replicate it at least once or twice for myself before I let the franchises go. But we're making progress to allow the company to grow.
Would you have another restaurant in Vegas, in another part of Vegas?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I remember when we were in real estate, we had a gentleman, actually it was a bank, it was Bank of America, it was one of the big CEOs or whoever it was, and he turned around and he said, be very careful when you're in business, but this was real estate, so the same type of thing. He said, be very careful where you go. He said, if you go too far where you can't reach it yourself within half an hour or an hour, he said, then don't have it. Because you will have...
If I'm to have another business,
you'll have it in
it'll
Vegas,
be in Las Vegas.
So that you can handle that, so you can handle both of them.
Yes,
so you want a couple of them...
I'd like probably 3 or 4 here in Las Vegas, but I have aspirations to have a couple of other different concepts.
Different concept, not crepes?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. A whole other concept.
Can I hear the other concept? And then we'll close out.
More toward the Mexican side.
Okay. Oh, Mexican crepes.
Well,
you probably do those already. I was going to say
those now.
You do those now.
More toward a Mexican restaurant, and okay. I have the most wonderful employees, and they've
had your back.
Yeah, they keep pushing me to do this because they know. Again, this is passions. I like to build big trucks. I like to build big things, restaurants and things like that.
Well, you were just talking about you had a truck that you used to have all the loud music. And,
yeah, I do have a big old truck.
A big old truck with loud music, and you like the music very loud.
Yeah, I do.
So you had it all insulated, the whole thing?
Yes, ma'am. I sound dead in the inside of my truck.
So you now do what you love to do?
I do. I follow my dreams. I follow my passions.
I guess that's our message today. Today, I had this gentleman. I don't know him. I have no idea. I just know his restaurant. But he has such a story and such a positive story that I just felt that the world, because we're on the internet, so you're going worldwide.
Beautiful.
And I just think that the world should know that none of you don't give up. 12 steps sounds pretty cool. I think they might have a 12-step program for gamblers as well. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm sure they do. But don't be shy to admit to the world, or to yourself actually first, of your problem. Go and solve it. And that's what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that brought tears to his eyes, my eyes as well, that his little baby boy was kind of the inspiration at the beginning of it. And she probably did, and this is probably why you're so close. And they're not married, but they were married, but they are married. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't make any difference. They're together for their son. And your son's going to probably follow in your footsteps and the way you treat him, and you'll take him to school and picks him up, and he lets his son know that he loves him. And on that, what message would you like to give to a dad out there?
Failure isn't really what we think of it as. And when our kids see us fail and learn from our mistakes and strive not to be perfect, but just to be a little better than yesterday, I think that's more powerful for a child to see rather than be told. I don't learn very well being told things.
But kids don't like being told things anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And with that, if they see it, if we choose to live the example rather than tell somebody how to be the example, then we're doing something solid.
Well, that's from a speech from a very experienced young man, that all he can see in the future is what you've been dreaming of all your life, and now you've succeeded. Well, thank you for watching Ninon Speaks. It's been a very touching show, and obviously that's why I've got him on, and I have many people on. They all have touching stories, because behind every face there is a story. I remember there was a woman wanted to be on my show, And I said, you have a story? And she said, no. And I thought, that's strange. You've got to have a story somewhere. I saw her 2 weeks later, and I said, well, she said, Ninon, I have a story. I said, what is it? She said, well, I've got to think about it. So anyway, on that, don't think about it, because everybody has a story. I will see you next time. Take care. Thank you.